So guys, in this video we're going to have a look at what is an array, creating an array, entering data into an array, finding the length of an array, then also looking at how we can print the contents of the array. Okay, so good luck with this. Hi guys, welcome to this little video where we're going to review a bit of the work that we did look today at in class about the idea of arrays, or sometimes called lists. Now this is a way in which you can store information into one variable where it's more than one item. Okay, so I think the best way to further explain that is I'm going to create a little program here and explain things as I go about arrays. Okay, so I'm going to call this arrays example, and I'd like you to also create this as we go. Okay, so I'm going to click OK there, and I'm going to clear the console here. Okay, now, so what is an array? Okay, so let's start off with a simple example. So I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it array1. And notice that when I want to put something into that, I'm putting these square brackets. Okay, so I'm just going to put some names into this. Got Fred, John, Joshua, Ellie, Sione, and let's do just one more, and let's go with Mary. Okay, so we've got 6 names there inside that array. Notice that they're separated by commas, but there's no comma after the last one. Okay, and right, a few things that we want to do once we've made an array and we've entered some data into it is we might want to find the length of that array. Okay, so I'm going to print something to the console. So console.log, and what am I going to try and print? Okay, I'm going to go array1 dot length. Alright, and let's see what happens if I now run that. Okay, I've got a number 6 here, and the run is complete, and there were 6 items in that array. So this keyword, okay, the name of the array followed by dot length, gives you the length, how many items in the array. Okay, we can also have different kinds of things inside one array. Like I've got all string here, but what happens if I replace John with the number 94, and if I replaced Mary with so we've got, okay, let's just make a Boolean variable true. Okay, and let's just run that again. Still 6. So an array can have different kinds of variables inside it. Doesn't have to be all of one kind. Right, one of the other key tasks that you're sometimes asked to do is to print the contents of an array. Now, the best way to do that is to use a for loop. So I'm going to create a function that will print the contents of the array. Okay, why a function? So we can practice functions again. So I'm going to call this function print contents. Okay, and this function needs to get sent to it, that array. So I'm just going to call that we'll call it just array. So that's a key word, probably can't use that. So I'm just going to call it A for array. In fact, I don't think array was a keyword, but anyway, I'll stick with A here. Alright, now inside this, once I've got sent the array, I'm going to use a for loop. Now a for loop you might recall, has three parts to it. We need to have a counter, so I'm going to go I for the counter, and we'll start that off at 0. Now what I need to do is I need to know how far to go in this for loop. So the second part is how many times you want to keep repeating. Now we know that that array 1 contains 6, so I could just put from I equals 0 to I equals 5. Remember, if you start at 0, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually is 6 items. But the problem is I don't know how long this array might be. It could be that we add more information to it, and I still want this to work without me having to come back here and change how many times this for loop should keep repeating. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign this calculation here. I'm going to use this calculation to tell us how many times we need to go through this for loop. So let me show you. I'm going to put I less than array, sorry, so A is the array. Remember, we're calling that A here, dot length. Okay, and then we want to add 1 to I each time we go through each time through the for loop. Okay, so having got that set up, what do we want to repeat inside the for loop? I've got a mistake there. Expected that, saw a bracket instead. Okay, have I made a syntax error here? Okay, let me just check one thing for a moment. What am I doing incorrectly here? Just checking another program here for a moment. That is not a for loop. No, that is correct. Let me just go back to my arrays example. Okay, I think we just need to add a bit more content in here, and hopefully that error should fix itself. Alright, so I'm going to print to the console. Right, what am I going to print? Okay, well, quite often you might want to print the position of each of these items inside that array. So I'm going to print, I'm going to call that the index number. So that's the text I'm going to use, index number. And then next to that I want to print I, because I starts at 0, and that is the first position of the first item in the array is in position 0. Okay, so if I print index number and then I, that will print index number 0, then 1, then 2, and so on. I think I'll make that a capital I. Okay, after I've printed the index number, I then want to print the actual contents. So plus, okay, and I'm just going to print the actual content. Okay, so what's that going to be? All right, so this is going to be in the array. So array is A. I need to print what is in position I. So the way that you do that is to use the index number with the name of the array, with the index number in square brackets like that. So that should print the index number 1 plus, and then we've got the actual contents. Now let me separate those a little bit. Let me put in a space here. I'm still wondering why I'm getting these multiple errors. So guys, I'm just going to pause the video for a sec. Okay guys, yes, I did make an error here in the syntax. Okay, there shouldn't be commas in between, there should be semicolons in between. Okay, and now the errors are all gone. Okay, so let's check what's happening here again. Okay, the array is called A. So for all the different contents of that array, we're going to print an index number, starts at 0, goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. No, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're going to print the contents of the array, starting at position 0. So Fred, then 94, then Joshua, Ellie, Sione, and True. Okay, I think that should work, but the best way to do it is to test it, of course. So we've made a function, but we haven't used it. Okay, so the function is called print contents. So print contents, let's use it. And we need to send to that function array1. Okay, and now let's run it. Okay, and yeah, real problem there. We're printing Fred every time because I made a stupid mistake. I put position 0 every time, and I should have been using I, which is the index which starts at 0 and then goes up by 1 each time. Right, so let's correct that and run it again. Right, and that looks a lot better. So we're getting the index number printed, then the actual index number itself, and then the contents that is in that index number. Okay, guys, what I'd like you to do is to have a go now at an exercise that I'm going to put onto OneNote. So it's going to be called Arrays Exercise 1, and it'll be described there. And use this as an example to try and help you. And I'd like you to send me your results of that, please. Okay, good luck with that, and we'll see you in class.